Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is August,
Hi, I'm Brandon.
and we have a really exciting announcement um, that we want to share with you guys today. Brandon is the founder of a music school called Artfinix, and they've been around for a few years now. They have over 100 students. Just recently, I started teaching at Artfinix, so I'm a guitar teacher and a voice teacher. And a little bit of background for me. So I actually went off to school for computer engineering. Um, didn't end up finishing that and started a education business instead. And then from that, I kind of made the realization and the catharsis that I really want to go into music and arts. And I played a lot of guitar growing up, and I had a lot of bands. And I wanted to, make the full-on commitment to go into music and to be a professional musician. So I started teaching, and with that, I'm going to leave it over to Brandon to share a bit about his story, and then we'll get into what we want to talk about today. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is August,
And my name is Brandon.
and we have a really exciting announcement today that we want to share with the world and kind of start something together. Brandon here is the founder of a music school called Artfinix Studios. They're based in Summit, Illinois, and they've been around for a few years now, have over 100 students. They teach kids and adults, and they have a bunch of programs for bands, practice spaces. They do group classes. They got a lot of options and opportunities. And something that we want to announce today is that we're actually trying to build a new music school for them, and we're actually calling it like a community music and arts center. So we want to build this as a community, share ideas as a community, and create it as a community. And the whole entire vision and focus is around preserving and nurturing the arts. We believe that, especially in today's society, given all this technology, given AI, everything we have available, we want to keep the arts alive and thriving, and we believe that arts should be more supported in our communities and in the world. So our mission is to try to create art programs and music programs, and that's what we want to announce today, which is the creation of the Artfinix Community Arts Center. So we're going to get into that. We're going to share a bit about our stories individually. So to start with, so my name is August Domanchuk, and I started playing guitar when I was pretty young, when I was 8, and I had bands throughout high school, and had some really amazing opportunities growing up. And I went off to college to study computer engineering at Iowa State University. And then while I was there, I made a decision that I really wanted to be a teacher and teach in some capacity. So I put together a education nonprofit to teach STEM. And so from there, I then kind of came to the catharsis and decision that I really want to focus on music and arts, and I want to become a professional musician and build a career in music. And so that's when I kind of made a decision, and I found Brandon, and he offered me a job at Artfinix to teach guitar, and now I'm a voice teacher as well. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really glad that I found this community. And so we want to help them get established at a new center. And so we're going to go into a little bit of our shared vision for that. And then I'm going to pass it on to Brandon to kind of share a bit about his story, which is really cool. Watching this guy teach is a really awesome experience, and he's very, very passionate and very engaged, and he has, and all the teachers, they've built something really special, and we want to do something with that, and they are every day. They teach. We have programs, we have classes, and that's been the most really breathtaking and awesome thing about this experience is the community that they've built. And so I kind of came to Brandon and was like, we got to build a really cool space, like a space to convene and come together and create art, create music, host events, host discussions, and public speaking events, and all the above. So now I'm going to pass it on to Brandon to share a bit about his journey, and then we'll wrap up with some of our thoughts for this new center that we want to build.
Hi, my name is Brandon Taylor Sides. I am the owner and the founder of Artfinix Studios and the Artfinix Works Foundation. I had my introduction to music at a very young age. I'm going to say about 7 years old or so. I was first introduced to the piano through a relative where he has a piano in his house and I would just go tinkle on the keys. And then next thing I knew, I was offered to take piano lessons and then it was just history from there. Like many artists and creative people, the saying goes is I'm learning is true that many great things come out of things that are tragic and sometimes dark, and that those are very important parts of life. For me, I remember back in 1999 actually being an 11-year-old boy and dealing with a mother who was dying of pancreatic cancer. It was because of the arts and because of music that I was able to push forward and to go forward. I remember on that Saturday, yes, in a really dark blizzard around 1 p.m., holding my mother's foot as she was taking her last breaths from pancreatic cancer in 1999. And of course, it was a very dark time, but I remember as the coroners came to collect a body that I was actually in my room and I was listening to music by Anita Baker. And one of her best songs was called It's Only for a While. It was one of the things that helped push me forward and to understand and help me learn that, the grief and things, it's only for a while. Since then, I have taken the music very passionately. It led to me becoming a music educator. I've gone to college at Vandercook to study music education. And then next thing I know, I'm at Columbia College and I'm learning music composition. So I utilize all the gifts and the skills that I've developed over the years, even through my struggles, and I have found ways to implement them in my methods of education to help push along and encourage all the others. I'm a very firm believer that there are many people who have experienced, similar to me, dark times in their lives, may that be through death, financial struggles in the families, or just the angst of growing up as a teenager, all these things, and yet we're seeing that more and more of the programs of arts and community and education are being taken away and shut down because the people don't really understand the value that is in the arts. We use art for our healing. Hence why you have people who are painters, right? You think about Van Gogh and all these other people and other musicians, B.B. King, the blues, just derived from all of the things that people experience. And it just baffles me that the more struggles we have happening in the world, the more people or programs and companies want to shut down the arts. But I believe in this day and age now, we need the music more than ever. So it has become a vision. Initially, when I started the school, it was to help educate other future musicians, and we have done that. And I have seen the impact that happens in the lives of my students. There are so many parents who come in with tears in their faces telling me my child has severe anxiety and I need to find some way to help my child to deal with this or to help them become healthier people. And it is simply because on the surface it looks like we're just giving music lessons, but there's so much more to it. These students are actually developing their confidence. They're developing a skill on an instrument, and even more importantly, they're developing a discipline. And they're also being able to take what they're learning and to channel their feelings and their emotions into that as well. And that is healing at its finest. These kids have grown up where now many of them are even adults who are studying to become doctors, some scientists, some therapists, but they are utilizing these skills and these disciplines that they have developed to become the young professionals that they've become today. So I believe in the miracle working and healing of the arts, and they play a very important role.
Not only does it heal, though, it prepares people too.
Yes.
Prepares people for the world. It helps them reflect and think. I think if you're not reflecting and thinking in life, you're just a zombie and you're just going through the motions. Part of being human is that, we were given a brain for a reason, right? Like, let's use it. And I think music is it's very formulative, and it builds, like, it builds character. It teaches you values. It teaches you how to learn. It teaches you how to be disciplined. It teaches you a language, how to interact with others. And it's a very beautiful thing, and we want to help more people experience that and open that world up to more people. That's why we want to put together this community arts center, and that's actually how the Artfinix got its name, a phoenix plus the word art, so Artfinix, and this idea of, you know, rising up from struggle or a dark path,
Yes.
you know, rising up together, or rising up as a phoenix. So we have a lot of ideas and plans for the center, but we're kind of going to spitball them, and then we're going to ask questions and engage the community and see, what do you guys want to have, and what do you guys want to build? What would you use if we built this community center? So part of our vision is to build like a music and arts like hub, a nexus for music and arts, a nexus to create and co-create, and to present your work and share your work. We want to have programs, practice spaces, jam spaces, 2 recording studios, 2 auditoriums. We also, we both share a really awesome mentor by the name of Fernando Jones, and we want to build a section or a part kind of in honor of him. He's been very formulative in our lives. We both had him as a teacher, and he was kind of like our music guide, at least for me, really early on. He was a big music mentor for me. And so that's our hope for this center, to bring people together to create. We'll have like memberships where you can be a member of the center, your band can be a member, and you can get access to the practice spaces. We want to do like public speaking events, exhibits where artists can feature their work. We want to do public lectures, and we even want to treat it almost like this open source school, this idea of an open source school, a school like run by the community. And we want to be careful about that word. Like, we are a school, but we're a center, we're a community center, like an ecosystem, a home for music and arts. What we want to do is just create this space to come together, to host events, to host fundraisers to causes and nonprofits. That's the other kind of aspect of the center, is we want to make it very communal and very community centered, where we go out and we engage within our community. We organize events, we teach back, we help others, just kind of having this center as like a movement, a movement to create together, and a movement to remember the importance of the arts and to nurture the arts. We also we wanted to have a program for, call them community builders, like a community builder program that teaches people, either artists or musicians, kind of how to get their footing, how to get established, maybe how to build a business, build an organization, basically just an artist or a builder that wants to get involved in their community and create value and maybe help others. So we're going to run kind of like a mentorship program, and I'm going to create a program for community builders, and we kind of want to do like an incubator for startups in music and arts, like kind of culturally driven startups. But we'll get into that a little bit further down the road. But to start with, we really just want to make it this open space to come together to create a safe space, a brave space, a comfortable space, and an inclusive space. That's one of our biggest core values that we share. You know, we do not need discrimination in this world, and it breaks my heart that we like still have groups and people out there that do so. And I think that I almost want to build this as like a statement to include people in the act of creation. Like, this is a place where we welcome everybody just to come together to create, no judgment, you know, just this very safe and we almost call it like a vibrant space, a space with energy. Yeah, and I'm talking enough, but I'll let you explain a little bit, because this is the guy. He's a guy who founded and created this, and I've kind of just like found him, and I'm trying to like guide and ease along, like make stuff happen. I'm trying to take on the role of like the project manager for this whole project, and we're trying to build a team for this new school as well, while not getting distracted from the everyday, like the important stuff that we got to do. So yeah, we're checking all boxes. But yeah, I'll let you talk a little bit about the center if you want.
Because of the arts, we have so many beautiful things that we see in the world. From paintings to seeing amazing people dancing, the sweet melodic sounds of music, writers, producers that make films. There's so many things that we see and that we enjoy every day. However, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of our motivation comes from the inner struggles and sometimes the hurt, especially from creative people. I can picture it, and if you can imagine with me, being like an 11-year-old, actually a 10-year-old kid, loving life outside every day, playing with family, hanging out, doing all those cool things. But then you have that one day you have to go to the clinic with your mom, and you're thinking, oh goodness, I'm about to go to the clinic, I got to get a shot. So I'm already scared and freaking out there. I'm like, oh no. But to find out it was a doctor's appointment for her. It felt like it was taking forever. You hear the smooth jazz on the radio. Oh my goodness, that was torture for me. But you hear those sounds, you see all these other people sitting in there, and then finally you get to go in the clinic and you meet with the doctor, just to hear the doctor actually say to your parent that the cancer is back. That's a very, traumatic thing to experience. And of course, for a 10-year-old, I didn't know what that meant, but it didn't seem good. But of course, months went on and I began to see the decay of my mother as she was fighting pancreatic cancer. And as you all can imagine, them being in the hospital bed at home, taking the medications, hearing her unwell, there's a lot that goes on and comes from that. A lot of things that even I internalized, and just the fear of losing your mother. No one wants to imagine that, and I'm sure vice versa for a parent to lose their child. But I remember in January of 1999, it was a snow blizzard, so it was just snow everywhere. It was difficult to drive. But around 1 p.m., I remember when I was standing at the foot of the bed with the rest of my family, and I was watching my mother take her last breaths. And that was the day that she passed away and transitioned because she lost her battle to pancreatic cancer. Now, of course, I, as a kid, was just like, oh my goodness, my world is over. I want to die with her. I want to go with her. And I realized then I ended up going to grief therapy. And that's where I was introduced to other forms of art and creativity. I remember in there, they actually had us drawing different things and creating our own form of poetry. But one of the things I actually did was I began to listen to a lot of music. I even believe that that's how I found my voice, is by listening to a lot of different singers like Patti LaBelle, Whitney Houston, and so many more. And that's how I developed my sound. But I am a firm believer it is because of the music and the arts is that I found a healthy way to channel a lot of my emotions and a lot of my fear, my grief, to help me handle those things in healthy ways. And I will, of course, always encourage people to go to therapy. That is an art in itself. But still, to find those creative ways to channel those feelings is what I believe helps me heal. And it is a reason why I believe I'm alive today. And I believe that is true for so many other people. And as we continue to see more tragedy and things happen in the world, it makes me question, well, why are we shutting down all these arts programs and all these classes and things that are necessary? It seems, in my opinion, that the more we shut down, the higher we hear of people struggling with depression and anxiety and all these things. And you'll even notice now, a lot of people don't even have the social skills because we're stuck in our technology and we're trying to let technology console us.
We're living in an age of isolation.
Yes.
This new generation Just look at their social skills.
Yes, yes, they
Yeah.
struggle, and a lot of them don't. They don't know what to do, and that's another reason why I strongly believe in the arts and their healing power, and we need that to build because there are so many people out there hurting, and I believe that we can also help prevent future people from hurting the same way many of us that didn't have access to the arts by teaching them and introducing them to what is possible and what is out there. We can't control life and we can't control what happens. We know that death happens, we know that tragedy happens, but what we can do is expose anyone and everyone to all the possibilities of handling it and finding healthier ways of how to process it.
I think that music allows us and art allows us to heal together.
Indeed.
It makes healing a shared experience rather than personal. If it's personal, you don't heal, or it'll take a long time for you to heal. But when you add music or art to it, it opens your world up and allows someone else to see where you're at, to see how you feel, to like open up a window into what's going on, and then it enables you to talk about it or re-experience. Like it's a form of communal healing, and I think that so many people think that they have to do it alone. Yes. And that's why I like the statement we want to make by building this center is you know, to kind of say, hey, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to sit in your room and you know, like you can go out into the community. You can create in the community. You can create with a group of like-minded people that are on the same page about, you know, music and art, and you know, that's our vision for this center, because you know, music and art, it builds foundations, and that's our job, that's our role. We're trying to build foundations, and people need foundations at every level in their life. We're always discovering new things to learn. Yes. Even we're talking about like adults coming to use our program to build a foundation in music. Opens the door to foundations and things they haven't even thought of or experienced.
Very true. And it's funny you say that. It reminded me of a time I was studying an undergrad degree, and I was taking the CTA on my way to downtown Chicago. And I had my music composition folder, so I'm trying to write music on the bus before I have to get to my 9 a.m. class. So it's probably 6:30 a.m. there, just riding down to Midway Airport to catch the Orange Line. I remember that the bus driver looked over me and said, "Oh, what you doing?" And I said, "I'm working on some music before I have to go to my composition class." And he even said to me, "Oh, that's funny. I did the same thing." See where I ended up now? He was driving a bus. He didn't even realize that he was projecting some of his issues onto me. But luckily, I didn't let it bother me or deter me. But I also realized, there's a study actually. Did you know that a majority of heart attacks that happen on Monday mornings? The reason why is because there's a lot of people who are going to jobs every day that they don't love. They're doing something that they hate and that they don't do. And the beauty of the arts is that you can do so many careers and still have an outlet in a field of art as well. You can be creative and you can still have a profession. Both of them are professions in their own. And that's the most important thing that I also want this foundation to make people understand. You can be creative and you can still do other things. I've had students who were studying drums and percussion, and I taught them some theory, technique, and I helped give them the discipline to understand the craft of the art. They graduated, went to college, and they were actually studying to become a neuroscientist. And they reached out to me randomly years later, and they said, "Brandon," and I'm like, "Hey, oh my goodness, it's so good to see you." And they said, "Thank you so much for all this stuff you instilled in me." And I'm like, "What do you mean? I just taught you music." But he said it's because of the discipline that he learned. One, he was able to do really well in school, but also it was how he paid for college. He was out gigging as a professional musician to pay to become a neuroscientist. And so now he is helping other people in neuroscience, and when he needs an outlet or if he wants to perform, he can go drumming and do many more gigs. So art is so important in so many ways.
Music and art adds like layers to your life, you know, like layers of like understanding
Yes.
that can't really be spoken about or talked about like we can't describe, but it adds, you'll understand if you get it's a really, it's cool to get into because it's more than just face value. There's something else there behind it, and how people, the message that they want to say. It's really interesting how people choose to communicate that. Art and music. Art makes a statement, and it's cool to be able to decipher that and take that apart, understand it, and then share that. Artists are teachers that are sharing their wisdom and lessons with us. Like, really good artists do a really good way and creative way of doing that, and that's what stands out about some artists in particular. Like, it's just it can add so many layers to your life. No matter what job you have, you learn how to play the piano or guitar, or learn to paint. You can enhance your current field or your current occupation, and it adds different dimensions that you probably wouldn't have looked at or considered before. And then it also adds that sharing element where you can share it and experience it again. So it's a form of reflection and memory. Like, art is like saving memories and our statements about things that happen in the world or in our lives. And it's a beautiful thing, and we want to try to bring that to more people. We want to make arts programs and music programs more accessible, non-discriminatory. Even if you financially aren't able to afford it, we want to put together scholarship programs, and we want to make art and music more accessible. We also want to make art and music teachers more accessible, as in we want to kind of create a hub for music and art teachers to come together to teach, propose classes, and build this like shared kind of open source school or open source learning center. So I set up this website called the Waves Fund, and that is a project sharing platform and a crowdfunding platform for projects that we call Waves. And so one of the projects on there is called the Artfinix Community Center. So that's going to be a crowdfund that we put together for this center. You can make a wave commit, and that's anywhere from $3 to $300. And then that gets saved and stored on your profile. And we want to try to make crowdfunding like a collective kind of communal experience. And we want to do it in a really unique and meaningful way where we involve people, involve our community members, and truly build this space together as a community. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.
The Son and Holy Ghost.